school management committee, the head of school, as well as the district and divisional education officers, officers from our provincial council office, and the students. I'm here to share with you some of the changes that's taking place at the ministry. I'm also here to see firsthand how COVID-19 protocol is being followed. I'm also here to share with you what is the statistics at the moment with student attendance across the country. And finally, I will also give you an opportunity to ask any question that may be related to your employment. So it could be employer-employee issues where you can ask any question, and I'll be happy to respond to your questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is very impressive. As you walk in, you see that the COVID safety protocols are all in place. The teachers are very well trained, and they are following the protocol in ensuring that our children are safe. Something interesting I noticed when I walked in, particularly for this school, I saw teachers sitting outside with the worksheets, and they're there to give out the worksheets to the parents. And these worksheets are given to the students who are not in the school, or because we have not opened the school for them. That is year 1 to year 7. So I thank those teachers for preparing those worksheets and distributing those worksheets, and not just distributing, but also collecting the worksheets, marking the worksheets, and conveying the message back to the students. And that requires a lot of work, and you've been working around the clock, and I just want to thank each one of you for the contribution you've been making in the education sector, particularly in the learning environment. You all know that when the students are not in the classroom for a very long time, it has a huge impact on the social and mental development. And our students are going through the same thing. Once you start receiving the students from year 1 to year 7, you'll realize that our children are anxious. You'll see anxiety in them. They'll be fidgety. They'll have lots of questions. And you won't find them the way you left them. You'll find the difference. So be ready for that challenge. I know you can do it, but be ready for that challenge. You will come across children who will need extra attention, and they will need extra guidance from the teachers. So thank you, teachers, for helping our children. And also thank you for assisting Ministry of Health in the vaccination program. I know a number of teachers were involved in the data verification process, and teachers do it well. They do it the best as compared to other group of professionals. We found that there were some vacuum left, and the teachers walked in and they were able to verify and complete the whole data process. So thank you, teachers, for doing that. I also publicly acknowledge the founders of this school, the person who gave 3 acres of land for education, Mr. Sethi. And I also acknowledge the past and the current school management committee for their contribution to the school. Education is a shared responsibility, as I mentioned earlier on, and I can see that in Fiji, majority of the schools are owned by community or faith-based organization, and the faith-based organization, they are very much involved in the running of the school. Government is only providing the assistance that you require, and we are providing the financial assistance in the form of free education grant. But if you look at the investment made by the government over the years, you'll see that the Fiji government has made a huge investment, $700 million every year. And that's a very big chunk of money that we're talking about. Only thing we expect from our teachers and from the school management committee or from the parents is the rate of return. And the rate of return is in our students. When they come out of the school system, how they fit into the society, how they fit into the workplace, and how they improve their quality of life. Because education should assist a child or a family to come out of poverty. So that is the rate of return we are looking forward to. Ladies and gentlemen, the schools opened its doors on Monday, and we allowed years 8 to 13 to resume classes. We are seeing very positive attendance on the ground. There were a lot of negative publicity that the children should not go to school, children are better at home. Different viewpoints were expressed, but we had made it very clear to the parents that the choice is yours, and we would prefer to have children in the school because that's where children belong. And our argument was very solid. Our argument was that if the border is open, the supermarkets are open, everything else is open, the gym is open, the restaurant is open, everything is open, then why are we closing the school? It is simply not making sense. You know? And then again, families, they leave home. Like this morning, you left home to come to school. And then you're going to go back home. And if you have your child at home, obviously your children are at risk of getting COVID. But at least in a school environment and looking at the COVID safety protocols that are in place, there is a high level of protection for our children. But we are also telling the parents that if a child has underlying conditions, for example, the child is diabetic or asthmatic, then it is not safe for the child to come to school. Or the parents should get some guidance or clearance from the medical doctor. That's the suggestions we are making. Please do note that Ministry of Education, we are not health experts. We rely on Ministry of Health and other institutions for guidance. But our attendance has been very good. Day one, that is on Monday, we had attendance of around 65%. And yesterday, our attendance was around 75%. So the attendance is picking up. And if you are wondering how do we collect this information, each and every head of school has to feed this information in our FEMIS. And once the information is fed in the FEMIS, then the analysis is done at ministry. It's very easy. It's a computerized system. So we are able to get that information. And I should be able to get the data for today when I head back to my hotel in the evening. Again, when we compare attendance, we have seen the attendance for year 12 and year 13 is very good. For example, year 12 yesterday was around 79%, and year 13 was around 76%. So attendance is picking up, and I'm sure in a week's time or so, parents, a lot more parents will be comfortable in sending their children to school. So that's on the attendance side of things. We had also announced the opening of new school year and what would be the holiday dates. All that were sent to the schools through a circular. And you will notice that again this year we cannot close our school early. It will be closing in late December, around 16th of December. We do want our children, our all Fijians to enjoy a Christmas break. And those of us who are traveling from one island to another, we want to give them ample time to participate in this celebration. And for that reason, we'll be closing the school on 16th of December. And again, it signals the fact that the schools will again open late. It cannot open early, as we need to send our teachers on break. They need a break. They cannot be in the school all the time. So to give students as well as teachers holiday, it simply means that we will be starting 2023 school year a little late as well. So this is just for your information. I want to share with the teachers that there are some changes happening at the ministry level, mainly to do with the primary curriculum. For primary curriculum, we are making some changes to our numeracy and literacy, as well as ECE curriculum and special education curriculum for primary school. Literacy and numeracy curriculum is already complete. It will be trialed during the new school year, which is in April of this year. For ECE curriculum, that is being done by the UNICEF and Ministry of Education, and they're working with various other institutions. And there are three areas they're focusing on. One is the curriculum, the other one is the policies that goes with the ECE education, and the standards that is required. We need to develop the standards. So that work is in progress, and if all goes well, we should be able to trial the ECE curriculum later in the year. One major change that we intend to bring in is the introduction of civics and moral education. And when we introduce civics and moral education, there will be other subjects that will be taken away from primary school. We want our children from ECE to Year 3 to be engaged more in discovery learning, to be more engaged in creative learning, rather than very standardized, competitive style of teaching and learning. We do intend to scrap exams for ECE right up to Year 3. And our focus will be on numeracy and literacy. We want to build a very, very strong foundation for our children, so that when they reach secondary school and when they are taught some very tough concepts, like biology concept or physics concept, they'll be able to understand that better, because you need language. You need to comprehend the subject matter. And if we build that foundation, our children will do very well in school. So that would be the focus for me to make a formal announcement once the cabinet approves the proposal that I'll be putting across to the cabinet, and once it's approved, then I can confirm which way we are going. But these are some of the thought processes that we are going through in order to bring about major change in the primary school system. Besides that, ladies and gentlemen, I also like to inform you that any teacher, any person in the school system, if you have any ideas to give, if you want to contribute to the curriculum process, or you want to make some suggestion, or you want to give some comments on the existing books that you are using in the school, or you are suggesting some major change that should take place in school, please feel free to give your comments. You can do that through through Teachers Talanoa platform. So we had launched Teachers Talanoa platform, and you can use that platform to communicate with the Ministry of Education. We would like to hold more webinar sessions for our teachers, and we are working towards that, so that we can engage all our teachers when we are reviewing any curriculum, when we are reviewing any books, textbooks, or when we are reviewing any policy. And we would like to give that opportunity. And we are building such session for our teachers. How can we hold this webinar session for our teachers so that they can contribute effectively? And finally, I want to mention to you that Ministry of Education will be launching its teacher helpline. And teacher helpline will be purely for teachers who are seeking transfer, who have issues in the schools. It's to do with the personal matters, right? Everything to do with your work-related environment, mainly to do with you as a person. You will be using the teacher helpline. Anything to do with the professional component of teaching, which is the curriculum, the resources, your lesson plan, ideas as to how we can improve our teaching and learning, all that you can communicate through Teachers Talanoa platform. So I wanted to bring it to your attention. But we're not going to leave aside parents and students, because parents and students, they must also have a say. Particularly students, because they are our clients, we exist for them, and they are our future. They should be able to say how teaching and learning should take place in a school environment. Because there is a mismatch between how we are teaching in a classroom and the students of this era. The students of this era, they're tech savvy, they like to play games, they like digital tools. Anything to do with digital tools, they understand better. But if you're going to just take them into a classroom and teach on a board, that's what they don't like. So there is a major shift. And we need to engage our students to understand better what they prefer. And this exercise I will be carrying out over the months and come up with proposals. And besides the proposals, get cabinet endorsement. And after cabinet endorsement, it will be the implementation of those proposals. So I will stop here before we have our teachers' Talanoa session. Thank you.